Hey everyone, what's going on? It's the Pocket Moggers here. Hope you're doing well today. I've got a video about the Nintendo Direct that is premiering on June 6th, or I'm sorry, June 8th, 2026. There we go. So that dates the video for anybody watching in the future. This pseudo E3 thing that we have going on has had a lot of great reveals this year, like a lot of them. As a Sega fan, I have just been thrilled with what's going on. But before this new one comes out, I just wanted to air a couple of predictions that I have about it and share those with you. So let's get started, shall we? So there are two rumors that have been floating around: a remake of Ocarina of Time from the Nintendo 64 and Super Metroid from the Super Nintendo are believed to be in works. A lot of really prominent leakers who are, relatively trustworthy, have verified both of these in their own ways. They can't confirm it, but they've said they've heard about them. And the Star Fox project that we got was one of the things that has been used as like uh, a gauge to test this out because most of the people who predicted this Ocarina and Super Metroid remake also predicted the Star Fox stuff that we saw earlier this year. So that's a good metric. That was the word I was looking for earlier. That's a good metric for the honesty of what's going on. Um, Super Metroid and Ocarina of Time are two of the best games ever made. They're a lot of fun. There's a lot of complexity to them and great environmental storytelling, as well as character driven, more so in Ocarina. But even in Super Metroid, just some really memorable things. I think bringing these two games into a modern audience is a wonderful idea, especially since Prime 4 kind of crapped the bed, so to speak. So Metroid needs a little bit of a facelift right now. Ocarina is an interesting choice in my opinion, since it's already been remade, just like with Star Fox 64. But if they have a new, innovative way to show us Ocarina of Time but capture the spirit of the original, I'm all for it. What do y'all think? These are games that I've heard a little bit of whispering about and have some speculation about. I've heard stuff about a 2D Mario and an Animal Crossing. The Kirby one is just me, just assuming. We have expansions for Kirby games on the Switch too, but we don't have a new Kirby title. And we went experimental with the last Kirby game doing 3D stuff, so I wonder if they won't just release a new 2D one to get us tied it over until they can figure out what to do with the 3D Kirby or something like that. I don't know, but Kirby is generally a safe bet, so I would not be surprised if we see something along those lines. Super Mario Wonder did a great job. The team that makes the 3D Marios just finished up Donkey Kong Bonanza, so I don't expect to see a 3D Mario anytime soon. But it is crazy that the Switch 2 is almost, what, it's like a year old now, and we don't have anything mainstream Mario exclusively to it yet. That's wild to me. I hope they change that around soon. Um, I'm not the biggest Animal Crossing, excuse me, player. I just tried to mix those two words up in the world. But I do enjoy it, and a lot of people enjoy it. It's a very, very, very popular franchise for the big N. So, with our last one coming out a few years ago, I think the time is ripe for another one of those. Self-explanatory here. Super Smash Bros. 6. Smash Ultimate came out in 2018, so it has been 8 years since the last one, and the DLC ended what, 2021, 2022, so 4 or 5 years ago, right? And it's time. I think the Switch generation is done. It was Nintendo's biggest and best generation yet, and it's time for Smash Brothers to honor that and give us some new stuff, especially with a new console with improved wireless connections and stuff. We might actually be able to play Smash Brothers online for the first time ever, right? That'd be crazy, huh? Neither of these are going to happen, but I do think it would be awesome if we got a new Mother or a new F-Zero title. Especially F-Zero, in my personal opinion. I am straight booty cheeks at racing games, but I love them. They're a lot of fun, and F-Zero is one of the most fun ones out there. It's super difficult, but super fun. Um, Mother is just a transformative RPG series, with games like Undertale coming out and stuff that have really shown what made Mother special without showing the Mother games themselves. I would love to see another one of these, but it's just not in the cards. I don't ever expect it to happen. But if either of these do make an appearance, I'd lose my mind. It'd be crazy. What do you all think? Would you like to see a new one of either of these? So Square Enix has been making the moves all around the different game studios and presentations and stuff. They are, for those of you who are unaware, excuse me, just had to catch a little burp that came up there. For those of you who are unaware, Square Enix is struggling a little bit right now. And in particular, their what I consider to be foolish and short-sighted endeavor to give Sony a whole bunch of money and only make games for Sony backfired. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought being a third-party software developer, but then not using it to develop third-party software was a bad idea, right? I think that short-sightedness is really going to make them pay long term, and I hope not because I love the company, but it was pretty arrogant of them to just go, well, nobody plays Xbox, nobody really wants PCs, nobody really wants to do Switch stuff. We should make one of the most beloved remakes of all time, but only make it on one console. What could possibly happen? Right? I don't know. It was pretty silly. Anyway, um, no offense to Kingdom Hearts fans, because I am a Kingdom Hearts fan, but Kingdom Hearts is a little lighter in tone than, say, Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy XVI or any of the more modern titles, right? A little more jovial comparatively, and with the Disney characters in it. I think that the Nintendo Direct is a very appropriate place to debut information for Kingdom Hearts 4. Will it happen? I doubt it. I thought we'd already have that game by now. The way that they were just pumping that trailer out and all that info when it first came out, and they have just gone quiet. I don't even know if Kingdom Hearts 4 exists anymore. Frankly, it could be reworked from the ground up here. They mentioned. Nomura specifically mentioned that he wanted to do something that he's had conceptually in his mind since the first game. And I wonder if the technology just still isn't where it needs to be for that. Anyway, point is, I think that the Nintendo Direct is a very appropriate place to see new Kingdom Hearts stuff. If I have any Kingdom Hearts fans in the audience, what do y'all think? Um, Sega here has also been making the rounds and just showing up all over the place. I've been so pleased with their lineup for these conferences. I'm gonna do a video specifically about Sega stuff. I'm a big Sega guy, and it's just made me so happy. But the lack of Sonic, like first, like mainline Sonic stuff, has been concerning for the 35th anniversary. I'm sure they have something in the pipes. I mean, I've heard the rumors and stuff and seen the evidence. There is definitely a definitive version of Sonic Frontiers running around in the wild somewhere. Um, and I assume that that game will be released relatively soon. I think the Switch 2 is the perfect place to show that off, and say, oh, look at what you can do on the Switch 2 with Sonic Frontiers, right? So I'm predicting that that will be there. This is just for me, but again, given its association with Tetris, and it's been a while, I think, since the new one came out, or at least the new mainline one came out. I'd like to see a new Puyo Puyo, you know, get some, maybe another Tetris Puyo Puyo. I don't know, just something along those lines. Those games are a lot of fun. Do you all have any Sega titles that have not been revealed yet that you'd like to see? I have a couple. I mean, Skies of Arcadia, a sequel or a remake would be incredible, but I don't expect to see that. Comics Zone, I don't ever expect to see that as much as I'd love to. Things like that. But if you're a Sega head and you've got some predictions for the Direct, let me know below, please. And for my personal biggest long shot here. The Bloober team, the team that made the Silent Hill 2 remake for Sony, is making a horror game for Nintendo, and I would love for it to be an Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem sequel. Eternal Darkness, geez, excuse me, is a fantastic first player horror game. There's a lot of mechanics and implementation of things and stuff that is, in my opinion, ahead of its time, and some of it is even crazy for today's standards. And I think everybody who enjoys horror games and enjoys, like puzzles and trying to figure things out, will enjoy that game quite a bit. It's been the black sheep of Nintendo for a long time, for very obvious reasons. M-rated horror game. Definitely not Nintendo's MO for the past 20 years or so, but they're leaning more into it with things like the Dusk Bloods, which, by the way, I also expect to hear something about that. So I really do think it would be a great opportunity for them to bring Eternal Darkness back to life. If you played it and you enjoyed it, what do you think? With all of that out of the way, I'd like to say thank you, and I ask you please leave your lists and your predictions below. I'd love to hear them. I work a couple of jobs, so I may not be able to get back to you immediately. Ooh, I just tripped there for a second. Sorry, guys. But I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. With that said, I hope you all have a wonderful week and enjoy the presentation. Like I said, I'm going to have a video about what's happened this past week or so in gaming in a little bit here. And I have another Pokemon related one that I'm going to be working on this week as well. They'll probably be up late this week or late next week. With that said, hope you all have a wonderful one. Let your family know that you love them. Stay safe out there. I'm going to catch you in the next one.